Why has PFI ban stung netas?
You're not going to believe who is quietly supporting the PFI and trying to rally support from them, for them, all across the country on the day that they've been banned by the world's largest democracy. Perhaps you will not be surprised, viewer. I'm not going to keep you guessing. First the headlines, and then I'm going to tell you who is doing sajda for the PFI. Take a look. India bans radical group Popular Front of India for 5 years for terror funding and conducting terror training. 8 other related fronts also banned. It's a big victory for every Indian citizen. India Today accesses damning PFI recovery dossier. Document for Islamic India by 2047 found. Pen drives with ISIS videos recovered. Bomb-making material recovered. Proof of PFI link to unrests has been established. Congress demands PFI like ban on the RSS. Says PFI and RSS are both sides of the same coin. BJP hits back, accuses Congress and opposition of protecting the PFI and appeasing minorities.
The ban is fine?
No, let the government have taken a decision. And why not RSS also? That is also important in this case.
Second arrest in Delhi Liquorgate scandal after Chief Minister Kejriwal's key associate Vijay Nair sent to CBI custody. ED arrests Sisodia's close aide Sameer Mahendru. Kejriwal hits out at the centre.
पहले उन्होंने सतेंद्र जैन को एक पूरे फर्जी केस में गिरफ्तार किया, फिर उन्होंने अमानतुल्लाह को एक फर्जी केस में गिरफ्तार किया, कल इन्होंने विजय नायर को गिरफ्तार कर लिया, अब अगले हफ्ते ये लोग मनीष सिसोदिया को गिरफ्तार करने वाले हैं.
Centre plans big festive cheer for the poor. Prime Minister Garib Kalyan free ration scheme for 80 crore Indian citizens likely to be extended by 3 more months. India Today was the first channel to tell you right here on 5 Live that the Popular Front of India was going to be banned the following day. We told it to you yesterday right here on this show. And unlike every other channel that was speculating Friday, this, that and the other, India Today told you it was going to happen the next day. And the PFI was banned at 5:43 this morning. We were way ahead of others. Nobody else even had an inkling of this ban coming when we told you that the axe is going to fall on this radical extremist Islamic organization, the Popular Front of India. And then it was today when the centre finally banned the PFI for 5 years under the stringent unlawful activities law. As always, we bring you the news fastest with the most credible information, and we place a huge premium, unlike every other channel, on being accurate and credible. As the clamour for a ban on the radical organization PFI grows, there's been a huge Part 2 crackdown pan-India. Many of those raids and detentions are still currently on as we bring you this live broadcast.
Amid Operation Octopus and midnight raids, India Today was the first to tell you of what was in store. The centre's axe for radical Islamist Popular Front of India. India Today was bang on when centre banned the PFI for 5 years under the stringent unlawful activities law. 8 of PFI-linked groups too face the ban. They include the Campus Front, Imam Council, Rehab India Foundation.
जिसके खिलाफ सबूत मिलते जाएंगे उसी के खिलाफ कार्रवाई करेंगे. हम किसी ऐसे संगठन या ऐसे व्यक्ति के खिलाफ पूर्वाग्रह से ग्रस्त होकर के कोई कार्रवाई नहीं करते.
The centre cited PFI radicalization plots, its links to global terror groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda, acts of terror and crimes including fanning hijab stir, CAA unrest and profit fire, illegal overseas fund flow and illicit foreign links, chopping hands of a Kerala professor, murder of RSS-linked individuals, and plotting suicide bomb attacks to justify the sweeping ban.
State governments will take further action as deemed fit as per the Act, Unlawful Activity Act. We will take action as deemed fit after the notifications are issued.
Dozens of PFI cadre are in custody for radicalization plots, violent protests and links to terror groups.
देशभक्तों का ये देश है, ये राज्य है, राष्ट्रभक्तों का है। यह देशद्रोही बयान किसी पर कोई कर नहीं सकता है और वो साइन भी नहीं किया जाएगा।
Doing all anti-national activities, and time had come to ban this organization, and this is a message for all the anti-national groups that they will not survive doing anti-national activity in this country.
This is a very, very welcoming move. I'd like to express our gratitude to Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah for this bold action.
While M&S workers celebrated and distributed sweets, security was tightened nationwide at PFI offices.
Union Home Ministry, except for SDPI, which is the political outfit of the Popular Front of India, and that is why you could see the policemen stationed right here outside the PFI's national headquarters.
Will the PFI ban help India's fight on terror, or will it lead PFI to regroup itself under a different name? Bureau Report, India Today.
And we've got the most hilarious breaking news coming in on the Popular Front of India ban. The ban of the PFI has rattled Pakistan. Are you really surprised by this? Pakistan rattled by the PFI ban. And a Pakistan embassy in Canada has been caught trying to gather international support for the Popular Front of India on a day when the extremist organization has been banned by the world's largest democracy. Viewer, please understand how hilarious I'm finding all of this. Pakistan has been caught on Twitter replying to the Popular Front of India's tweet and trying to tag many other prominent Twitter handles to somehow gather support for the now banned PFI. It's an incredible show of support from the world's biggest sponsor of terror against India, now looking to rally support, gather support, amplify support, reach out to world leaders and organizations on the issue of the PFI being banned here in India. Incredible piece of breaking news that we're bringing to you first here on India Today. Let's go take you straight across to Gaurav Sawant. Gaurav, Pakistan High Commission in Vancouver, Canada, trying to amplify the PFI ban, trying to tag prominent handles on Twitter in an effort to rally support for the PFI.
Shiv, this is as blatant as this gets, and this actually proves India's points that this radical Islamist organization, the Popular Front of India, was in touch with foreign terrorist organizations. Of course, they talk about the JMB in Bangladesh and radicalizing youth for the Islamic State. But then Pakistan State, as you and I well know, having covered Pakistan state-sponsored terror for over 20 years, is no different from these terrorist outfits. And the proof of the pudding lies in its eating. Look at this. The Popular Front of India put out a tweet saying that there are massive arrests going on in BJP-ruled state in the name of preventive custody, and they've sought support. So what does the Pakistan Consulate General at Vancouver do? They amplify this tweet seeking support of UN Human Rights, UN Geneva, the Human Rights Commission, EU Commission, UN Geneva, EU Council, Amnesty International, and talking about India, Kashmir's so-called apartheid and so on. They've also tagged the Foreign Office in Pakistan. So Shiv, this clearly shows Pakistan's tacit and in many cases overt and covert support to terrorist organizations and its associated paraphernalia in India. And Shiv, there is a long history, as you well know. 1993 Mumbai blast, 257 people killed. Dawood Ibrahim Kaskar lives in Pakistan. The attack on the Indian Parliament, IC-814 hijack, the Pulwama, Pathankot, Uri, a series of other terror attacks, 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. all traced back to Pakistan state ISI and Pakistan army using fronts like Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. And in this instance, of course, there are intelligence agencies and the government that are probing the role of this radical Islamist organization, Popular Front of India, that wants to convert India into an Islamic state by 2047. And Shiv, if I may quickly, their other plan is to have communal divide in India. It's also to have caste divide in India, have the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe take on each other and other castes in our country. So there is a wider game plan. Question remains, is Pakistan complicit in more ways than one?
Well, they're complicit in every possible way that can be inimical or damaging to India. Just to get the accuracy of this, the Pakistani consulate in Vancouver has tweeted this on the 28th, that's today, 3:32 a.m. their time. So this was after the raids had happened and just before the ban came into place. So here's Pakistan gathering support, tagging the Foreign Office, tagging the United Nations, tagging their grandmothers, and hoping for some kind of attention on the world's largest democracy, a parliamentary democracy, banning an extremist communal organization in the country is my favorite joke of the day. I'd be laughing if it wasn't such a serious matter, Gaurav, but the fact that Pakistan's consulate has replied to the PFI's tweet about the raids that were taking place before the ban actually happened. I'm wondering whether they will tweet now, since the ban has actually taken place, they'll probably tweeting God also and tagging God as well, and the US president also probably. But this is, in many ways, Gaurav, this is not just blatant, but it also underlines what India and the Indian government have been saying for long. That, whatever extremist activity takes place anywhere in the world, especially here in India, you don't have to look very far to find a Pakistani link.
Shiv, you've hit the nail on its head and you're absolutely spot on wherever there is terror. You're right, not just in India, but in different parts of the world, there is a Pakistan connection. In this instance, whether it's the desperation of the Pakistani consulate in Vancouver, look at the choice. They're also doing this in Vancouver. Perhaps next they'll do it in the United States of America and in some countries in Europe, because that is where they're desperately trying not just to seek international support, but also rally perhaps Islamists in those countries where maybe the system will look the other way. Look at what's happening in Leicester. Look at what's happening in Birmingham. Look at the Pakistan connection there and how the state there is trying to grapple with these radical Islamists, whether in Leicester or in Birmingham, as they target Hindus in those countries, in those cities in the United Kingdom. So Shiv, you're absolutely right. There is a Pakistan connection to terror in different parts of the world. You'd recall, Shiv, post 26/11, it emerged that Tahawwur Hussain Rana and David Coleman Headley were Pakistan Lashkar-e-Taiba sleeper cells in the United States of America and in Canada. The 7/7 London bombing in 2005 had a Pakistan connection. Added the recent stabbings in UK, they were traced back to people of Pakistani origin. So Pakistan is actually the international terror nursery or library. It's actually the Oxbridge of terror, because people go to the madrasas and mosques in Pakistan, get radicalized and carry out these terror activities in different parts of the world, Shiv.
Pakistani consulate in Vancouver, Canada. I mean, this is, there is blatant and there is Pakistan. I don't know which is which anymore when it comes to this country. How hopelessly stupid do you need to be to actually do something like this on Twitter? I mean, the whole world knows that, terror emanates from Pakistan, but to actually on a day, before the world's largest democracy has banned this organization, you've been caught trying to rally support for them. At least do it out in the open. Why are you skulking around and replying to PFI tweets and trying to tag UN, human rights, etc., etc.? Ridiculous. I mean, these people don't even understand India, so let's let them be. I think this was just a bit of comic relief as far as Pakistan is concerned. Like I said, I would be laughing if it wasn't such a serious issue. Gaurav, thanks very much for that. Remember, apart from the Popular Front of India, 8 of its subsidiaries or front organizations have also been banned for 5 years, along with today's overall ban against the PFI. Clear linkages between the PFI and these affiliates have been established. They include Rehab India Foundation, which collects funds through PFI members, Some PFI cadres are also members of the Campus Front of India, the Empower India Foundation. Some PFI cadre also members of the All India Imams Council and the NCHRO. The PFI created front to enhance reach and fundraising capacity. The PFI has been acting as a hub and using these fronts for unlawful activities and to also spread its presence a little thinner to avoid detection probably. PFI fronts pursuing secret radicalization on the agenda according to the agencies that have been involved in formulating the entire dossier against them. Well, speaking of dossiers, after the huge pan-India raids and arrests by both central and state agencies all of yesterday, to which our friends in Pakistan have been trying to rally international and United Nations support, the centre cracked the whip early this morning, as India Today had told you first. Well, we've also got a chilling government dossier which reveals damning recoveries during the crackdown that took place on 2 occasions in the last 1 week. Pen drives with ISIS videos to Islamic India by 2047, brochures, compact discs, the list is endless. There are many questions, but here's what the government says it has found.
Two raids. At least 350 taken in over the past week. And the organization, its affiliates, declared outlawed in their wake.
ये सब जांच का विषय है, जांच की प्रक्रिया चल रही है, जांच पूरी होगी तो धीरे धीरे सारी जानकारियां आपसे शेयर करेंगे। जिसके खिलाफ सबूत मिलते जाएंगे उसी के खिलाफ कार्रवाई करेंगे। हम किसी ऐसे संगठन या ऐसे व्यक्ति के खिलाफ पूर्वाग्रह से ग्रस्त होकर के कोई कार्रवाई नहीं करते।
India Today has accessed dossier that reveals what all investigating agencies found from PFI suspects, their hideouts, homes and offices during the raids across the country. The swoop in Uttar Pradesh led to the recovery of a bomb-making manual. The guide to building an improvised explosive device was seized from PFI leaders Muhammad Nadeem from Barabanki and Ahmed Beg Nadvi from Khadra in UP. The manual offers a short course on making IEDs from easily available materials. Worse, it calls to fight and slay the pagan wherever found. Besides, pen drives seized during the raids in Uttar Pradesh contained videos related to ISIS. That's not all. In the raids down south in Tamil Nadu, investigators found 2 handheld marine radio sets and GPS-equipped navigators from an SDPI leader in Ramnad district. Unaccounted cash recovered from the residence of Shahid Khan, a PFI leader in Bengaluru. And the raids in Maharashtra led to the recovery of soft and hard copies of Mission 2047, a self-styled guide to convert India into an Islamic state by 2047. This material was seized from the possession of the PFI's vice president in the state. Investigating agencies treat the seizures as compelling evidence of the banned outfit's sinister plot to destabilize India. Bureau Report, India Today.
Want to bring India Today's Munish Pandey in. He's been breaking many of the stories surrounding these raids. Munish, incriminating materials of a pretty alarming nature apparently discovered in the raids that took place yesterday. Pen drives with ISIS videos, presentations on Islamic India by 2047, terror training equipment or material of some kind. This is pretty incriminating stuff. All of this, Munish, went into the decision to ban the PFI apparently.
Absolutely, Shiv, because banning an organization is not an overnight decision, and this is why the National Investigative Agency, the Enforcement Directorate, as well as many state police departments, they presented their case before the Home Ministry, especially before Home Minister Amit Shah, and there the decision was taken that there will be a sweeping operation against the PFI leaders and PFI members. Why PFI leaders? Because, Shiv, it is not limited to the cases which has been lodged by the Enforcement Directorate or the National Investigative Agency, but also there was credible evidence, credible input that PFI is an organization which is also indulging into radicalizing the youth to join the terrorist outfits like ISIS and some other terror outfits. Apart from that, there was also evidence indicating that these PFI members are also planning attack on some political rallies, especially when Prime Minister Modi was holding a rally in Bihar. Then there was a plan to attack on that particular political rally also. So all these things were taken into account. After that, the raids were conducted in which 106 people were arrested by the NIA, the ED and the other investigative agencies of the country. After taking all the evidence which was collected by these investigative agencies into the account, the Home Ministry decided that it is best for the country, it is best for the people of this country to ban this organization, because not only PFI, in a very organized manner, PFI along with the 8 sister fronts, affiliates and organization, they are not only withdrawing political support, but also they are getting money from some Gulf countries, and these this entire thing, the money and the support is being used against the sovereignty of this country. So that is why this decision was taken by Home Minister Amit Shah, and now PFI stand bans for next 5 years.
In fact, we've got some breaking news coming in. Munish, stay with me. I want to get you in on that as well. This is an important piece of breaking news that's just come in from the PFI. They've broken their silence for the first time since the ban came into effect early this morning. State General Secretary of the Popular Front of India, Abdul Sattar, in a statement has said that the Popular Front of India has been dissolved. All its members and the public have been informed about the dissolution of the PFI following today's ban by the Indian government. The General Secretary of the PFI also said that the PFI has requested all members to stop all activities. The Home Ministry and Government of India has issued a notification banning the PFI. They've said, as law-abiding citizens of our great country, the organization accepts the decision of the Ministry of Home Affairs. That's what the statement has said. Munish, the PFI issuing a statement saying the organization has been dissolved. What does this mean?
Yeah, well, it is very clear and evident that the top leadership of PFI, who are not arrested at this point of time, they are now of the opinion that the evidence which the investigative agencies have collected, that evidence is overwhelming in this case, and they have no chance to, get this ban on PFI or the sister organization lifted. Also, what we have been given to understand is that the government was also in communication with several other people, and in which it was communicated that the PFI leaders and PFI members are involved in such activities which cannot be tolerated by any country, any law-abiding country. Now, as far as the PFI is concerned, remember, the evidence were incredible, and those people who have been arrested, the chairman, Mr. Parvez Ahmed, he was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. The evidence was that more than 120 crore rupees was collected by PFI since 2010. So as of now, PFI has got this understanding that those people who have been arrested by the investigative agencies in the country, that is based on the evidence, and that is why I think this statement has come that they are dissolving PFI, and they have asked all their members not to indulge in any activity, because if from now on any person who is even associated with PFI, that person can be booked under UAPA, that is Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. So that is also, it is evident from this statement that they want every person, to de-associate at this point of time with from PFI. And but Shiv, also we have to wait and watch that PFI is the same organization which evolved from 3 organizations which were banned at that point of time. So again, there will be no front organization. For that, I think the investigative agencies have to keep a watch on it.
Okay, so this is a story in motion. It's still developing. The ban is in place, but there are many things to sort out before that ban fully comes into effect. The PFI has announced that the organization is being dissolved. Munish there with that piece of breaking news. Now, what did the Home Ministry notification? It was a 4-page notification. What did it actually say? Because India Today broadcast it first. We told you yesterday it was going to come. It did happen. It talks about linkages with global terror outfits. That's the most glaring thing this notification says. It says that the PFI is linked to global terror groups like ISIS, that it has participated in terror activities in Syria, It has participated in terror activities in Iraq and Afghanistan. Some PFI cadres have been linked directly to ISIS cadres killed in conflict theatres. Some PFI cadres have been arrested by central agencies and state police. The PFI is linked with terror outfit, the Jamaat-ul-Mujahideen Bangladesh as well. These are just some of the glaring pointers in that 4-page notification banning the PFI today. There's been, of course, an ugly political eruption after the ban on the PFI. Ugly words being said, allegations being put out by politicians from across the spectrum. The Congress and many other political parties used this opportunity, the ban on the PFI, to target the BJP and the RSS to say, why not ban the RSS? The Grand Old Party took a jibe at the Sangh Parivar and demanded a similar ban on the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. Meanwhile, Owaisi of the AIMIM said he always opposed the PFI's approach, but the ban on the PFI cannot be supported. Take a look.
While I have always opposed PFI's extreme and radical approach, I have always supported democratic approach. This ban on PFI cannot be supported because actions of some individuals who commit crime does not mean that the organization itself must be banned. A draconian ban of this kind is dangerous, as it is a ban on any Muslim who wishes to speak his mind.
PFI का जांच हो रहा है और PFI के तरह जितने भी संगठन हैं, इंक्लूडिंग RSS, ऐसा पर प्रतिबंध लगाइए। एकरूपता लगे, दिखने को लगे, ऐसा नहीं कि ये फीलिंग जाए कि खास करके मुस्लिम संगठनों को ये तो दुर्गा वाहिनी भी बनाए थे और RSS को बैन पहले भी किया गया था इमरजेंसी में भी, और एक साथ इस तरह के जितने भी संगठन हैं सबको बैन करिए और जांच करिए, कुछ मिले तो कार्रवाई करिए।
आम जनता को सुरक्षा चाहिए, पर आम जनता ये PFI हो, DFI हो, इस सब से उनको मतलब नहीं, वो तो सुरक्षित रहना चाहते हैं। और अगर इतने दिन ये हो रहा था तो मेरा प्रश्न है, आप क्या कर रहे थे? ये साल भर में तो उत्पन्न पैदा नहीं हुई, तो क्या उनको जो सबूत हैं क्या अभी मिले? अगर ये पहले से चल रही थी और ये आतंकवादी संस्थाओं से जुड़ी हुई थी तो आप इतने साल क्या कर रहे थे?
We've seen also the ban on the CPI Maoists, but even today the security forces and the Maoists are in loggerheads and they continue to battle out each other in certain parts of the country. We have to politically isolate such forces spreading extremism and terror tactics, and administratively very firmly take action against all the criminal activities they indulge in.
Minority communalism and majority communalism, both are dangerous. They are the same two sides of the same coin. So the secular forces should come forward and fight against the terrorist activities of both. Why not RSS also? That is also important in this case.
स्वागत योग्य कदम है केंद्र सरकार का। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, माननीय अमित शाह जी का आभार कि जिन्होंने राष्ट्र विरोधी गतिविधियों में संलग्न PFI संगठन पर प्रतिबंध लगाया। ऐसे संगठनों पर प्रतिबंध लगाया जो हत्या जैसे जघन्य अपराधों पर देश में चिन्हित किए गए।
Well, since many of these netas have been talking about how, like the PFI being banned, the RSS should also be banned, let's just take you back into history and show you about the multiple occasions when the RSS was actually banned by earlier governments. February 1948 to July 1949, after Indira Gandhi's assassination also, it took place 1975 to 1977 during emergency. There was a ban. December 1992 to June 1993 after the Babri demolition also it took place. So 3 occasions it has been banned in the past, and then the ban has been lifted. Well, after years of pain and misery, families who lost their loved ones to hate killings by the radical outfit have been comforted by the ban on the PFI. We spoke to many of them. Take a look at this.
बैन करे सो अच्छा था, फुल बैन करना था.
After years of pain,
ಇದು ಬಹಳ ಸಂತೋಷದ ಸುದ್ದಿ. ಇದು ಬ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಊರ್ಜಿತವಾಗಿ ಉಳಿಬೇಕಿತ್ತು.
some hope for justice. Families who lost their loved ones to hate killings allegedly by the Popular Front of India are comforted by the ban on the radical Islamist group. The banned outfit is linked to over 10 killings. R. Rudresh, an RSS worker from Karnataka, fell prey to the hardline organization's violence in 2016. His family hailed the ban ordered by the central government.
ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆನೂ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಇವಾಗ ಮರ್ಡರ್. ಕೆಲವರು ಜನ ಹತ್ಯೆ ಆಯಿತು. ಇವಾಗ 20 ಮರ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಗಿದೆ 6 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ. ಇದು ಫುಲ್ ಬ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಿತ್ತು.
Sharat Madiwala, another victim of hate, was murdered in Mangaluru in 2017. 5 years later, his murderers still roam free.
ಇದು ಬಹಳ ಸಂತೋಷದ ಸುದ್ದಿ. ಬ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಊರ್ಜಿತವಾಗಿ ಉಳಿಬೇಕಿದು. ಇದನ್ನು ಬರೀ 5 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಟುಕೊಳ್ಳಬಾರದು. ಇದು ಶಾಶ್ವತವಾಗಿ ಇರಬೇಕು ಈ ಬ್ಯಾನ್.
There are many more like Sanjeet and Nandu who were killed in Kerala.
ഒരു വർഷം മുൻപേ ഇത് നല്ല കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഈ ഒരു വർഷം മുൻപേ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നെങ്കിൽ എൻ്റെ മകൻ്റെ ജീവൻ പോയിട്ടുണ്ടാവില്ല. പക്ഷേ ഇപ്പോഴെങ്കിലും അവർക്കത് തോന്നി അത് ചെയ്തതുകൊണ്ട് ഇനിയെങ്കിലും എൻ്റെ പോലെ ഒരു അമ്മ ജീവിച്ചിരിക്കില്ല എന്ന് ഞാൻ വിചാരിക്കുന്നു. ഇതെല്ലാം ഇനി വേറെ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു പേരിൽ അവർ വന്ന് ഇനി ആൾക്കാരിനെ കൊല്ലാം. പക്ഷെ എന്നായാലും എൻ്റെ മകൻ്റെ ജീവനൊരു നീതി കിട്ടുന്ന ഒരു പ്രതീക്ഷിക്കുന്നു.
എൻ്റെ അവസ്ഥയൊന്ന് ആലോചിച്ചു, നിങ്ങളൊന്ന് ആലോചിച്ച് നോക്കൂ. എനിക്കുണ്ടായിരുന്ന ഒരു അത്താണിയാണ്. അത് പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ പിന്നെ എനിക്ക് ആരാകും? SDP-നെ പോലെ വേറെ ജാതി പ്രശ്നം ഉണ്ടാക്കാനൊന്നും പാടില്ല. എൻ്റെ കുഞ്ഞിന് ചത്ത അവരെ കൊന്ന അവരെ നിരോധിച്ചതിൽ എനിക്ക് ഏറ്റവും വലിയ സന്തോഷം.
The family members of people who were killed by PFI hailed the ban of central government, but they still believe that 5 years ban is not going to serve purpose and it should be banned forever. And they also demand a stringent law against all these people where they don't get away in any kind of heinous crime.
Their tears have dried up. The ban on the PFI gives them some relief, but true justice will be served only when all the killers are convicted and punished. With Sagai Raj in Bengaluru, Bureau Report, India Today. Gather round, citizens, brothers and sisters, because today, as you know, has been a momentous day. The radical extremist Islamic organization, the Popular Front of India, has been officially banned by the Indian government, ending years of dithering, ambiguity and even hypocrisy over the last decade. But all big moves always have a side effect. Today's move to ban the PFI has resulted in Neta after Neta scrambling to compete for that always tempting Indian crown of appeaser-in-chief. First off the mark was who else? Lalu Prasad, who far from welcoming a ban on an extremist organization said that organizations like the RSS should have been banned before the PFI. Lalu, convicted in the infamous fodder scam and now on bail, can never take his eye off his old tried and tested brand of appeasement. Very close behind Lalu was Samajwadi Party MP Shafiq-ur-Rahman Bagh, who called the ban selective action fueled by Islamophobia. And adding muscle was his colleague in the Samajwadi Party, Ameek Jamai, spokesperson, who said the ban on PFI was intended to scare Muslims of India. The question is, why does he think that Muslim citizens of India will be scared by an extremist organization being banned? Please think for a moment about the condition of Muslims in Bihar and UP over the years under these illustrious netas that have regarded Muslims as voting fodder for decades and nothing else. Are they not ashamed equating the sentiments of the community with a radical extremist organization with proven links to violence, terrorism and law and order situations? But wait, the race is just getting started. How can any such contest be complete without Asaduddin Owaisi? He chimed in during his daily mehfil today to very cleverly say he doesn't agree with the PFI's methods, but that you cannot ban an entire organization for the actions of a few. He said a little bit of this, he said a little bit of that. Well played, Mr. Owaisi. Very well played. And finally, when it's the appeasement crown that's at stake, how can the Congress party ever be far behind? Congress MP Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary credited who else but Rahul Gandhi for the ban on the PFI. Why? Well, he said the ban was timed with Rahul Gandhi's presence in Kerala and to cut the crowds gathering for Rahul's Bharat Jodo Yatra. Now, wait a minute. Is the Congress MP saying that those crowding around Rahul Gandhi are mostly PFI members or mobilized by the PFI? I hope he has checked with Rahul's team before unleashing this latest act of motor-mouthtery. In a country where cynical appeasement has seeped down to the roots of our political system, nobody should be surprised by the irresponsible, broad brush such leaders often wield to link organizations like the PFI with Muslims at large. It's too much to ask for netas to de-link national security from narrow political mileage on communal lines. But then appeasement is nothing less than the fourth wheel of our democracy. And unlike the PFI, appeasement cannot be banned. Arvind Kejriwal is on the campaign trail in Gujarat, one of the big upcoming elections. He said the Congress is finished.
You look at it on a larger, on a national scale, no, the Congress is not finished, and this is coming from a party which has 0 Lok Sabha MPs right now.
Arvind Kejriwal is positioning himself as a potential challenger, if not in 2022, then in 2027.
One party who can take on the Congress at this point as the leading opposition in this country is optics.
Kejriwal attempted something similar in Uttarakhand, didn't quite work. Small state, didn't quite work. In Goa, yes, he got 6% of the vote, but the Congress was still substantially larger.
14, if he takes 14 Vidhan Sabha seats, this election in Gujarat, the Aam Aadmi Party would have done more than what they wanted to do. 14 is their figure.
Aam Aadmi Party is certainly a natural national replacement. This is what Raghav Chadha said, and I totally agree with him, because they've mostly wiped out the Congress in Delhi.
Rahul Gandhi actually given up on Gujarat completely. The fact remains he's spending 18 days in Kerala, only 2 days in Uttar Pradesh, and practically it's a splinter yatra that's going into Gujarat.
But actually the voters resonate with the Delhi model of governance pitch that they've been making in Punjab, similarly in Gujarat as well, because honestly speaking, what is the Delhi model of governance?
I think Kejriwal sold this education health model of his, and these are two areas where Gujarat has traditionally been weak.
Delhi is Congress Mukt. Punjab Congress has been defeated. So Arvind Kejriwal is eating into the opposition votes or the Congress votes. Both these states he is successful. In the third state, Congress is in a disarray.
I would not write off any political party which has got 35 to 40% vote like the Congress completely. The Congress has a well-entrenched vote in Gujarat. Can AAP completely take that vote over in one election? We don't know. They did it in Delhi. But as I said, Delhi is not India.
You have sporting games and you have non-sporting games. I mean, to play the devil's advocate, some people would say, poker involves some skill as well, but poker is considered gambling. So what is the line which divides betting and non-betting, fantasy sports versus true online gaming or betting?
I think that's up to the courts to decide and the regulators.
if India passes regulations from the government side, or until then, the courts can decide if a game can be proven to have predominance of skill over chance, then by our law, it is a game of skill and not gambling, betting, or wagering. So I don't think I am qualified to answer that question. I think the Supreme Court is qualified, and they have answered it for fantasy sports. And I'm sure there'll be other games that will either get to Supreme Court, will be challenged and will be answered, or I actually personally prefer that we've been advocating it for a while, that the government looks at gaming and sets up a regulatory body. And I believe that it's the far-sightedness of this government that they are able to create a regulatory body now. And our Honorable PM and Honorable FM have already announced within the last budget and after the budget that India is a gaming powerhouse and we can be much, much larger. And for the first time, the government is looking at recognizing gaming in an official capacity and regulating it properly. So we welcome that move. We've been advocating it with our own industry body. The industry is created called the Federation of Indian Fantasy Sports, FIFS. And we welcome any common sense regulations in our sector.
By when do you see that happening, a regulatory body, Harsh, for online gaming as an industry? Because, you know, this recent EGOM recommendation of 28% GST, it reminds you of what happened in the budget with cryptocurrencies, for example, because there seems to be a part of the government which wants to tax anything to do with gambling, betting, gaming, cryptocurrency quite heavily. But do you see the regulatory body that you're recommending actually being on your side, or actually the taxation laws being actually very onerous and heavy for your industry going forward?
I believe that the government needs to set the right amount of taxation.
Sister Lucy Kalapura is a name that you might not find familiar, it might not strike you as familiar, but she was a nun who became known as someone who had protested against Bishop Franco Mulakal in the infamous nun rape case from a few years ago. She was expelled by the Franciscan Clarist congregation and began an indefinite fast, alleging that she is now being persecuted and denied basic amenities at the convent where she was supposed to stay absolutely free. Take a look at this.
Sister Lucy Kalapura, who led the campaign demanding the arrest of Bishop Franco Mulakal over rape charges, is on an indefinite hunger strike. The nun expelled by the Franciscan Clarist congregation that comes under the Roman Catholic Church in 2019 began her fast right outside the convent in Manandawadi.
Chief കോടതി മാനന്തവാടി നൽകിയ ആ ജഡ്ജ്മെന്റിനെ എതിരെ ലക്ഷ്യമാണ് അവർ പ്രവർത്തിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. എൻ്റെ എല്ലാ അവകാശങ്ങളും അവർ തട്ടിപ്പറിച്ചെടുത്തിരിക്കുകയാണ്. ഭക്ഷണം തുടങ്ങി, സംസാരിക്കാതിരിക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങി, ഭക്ഷണം തുടങ്ങി, അങ്ങനെ എല്ലാ കാര്യങ്ങളും.
Sister Lucy says she is being denied basic amenities. The nun claims she is not allowed to use the fridge or iron. Sister Lucy alleges she is denied access to the prayer room and is not even given proper food, despite court orders that allow her to stay at the convent.
4 വർഷമായി എന്നോട് സംസാരിക്കുകയില്ല. പിന്നെ 2 വർഷമായിട്ട് കിട്ടിയ കോടതി വിധിക്കെതിരെ ഇവിടെ എനിക്കൊരു അവകാശമില്ല, വെറും ഒരു അഭയാർത്ഥിയാണ്, അതുകൊണ്ട് മുറിയിൽ മാത്രം കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ മതി എന്നുള്ളൊരവസ്ഥയിലേക്ക് എന്നെ തള്ളിവിട്ട് നിരന്തരം എന്നെ ടോർച്ചർ ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. എൻ്റെ അവകാശങ്ങളെല്ലാം അവർ നിഷേധിച്ചിരിക്കുകയാണ്.
Sister Lucy Kalapura had hit national headlines after she joined a campaign launched by nuns from the Missionaries of Jesus congregation against Bishop Franco Mulakal. Franco Mulakal was accused of sexual abuse by a nun during the period between 2014 and 2016 when he was the bishop of the Roman Catholic Diocese of Jalandhar. The bishop was acquitted of all charges by a Kerala court this year. With Shibi Mole in Thiruvananthapuram, Bureau Report, India Today.
And Sister Lucy, who is on an hunger strike right now, protesting against her being denied basic amenities at her convent, is live with me. Sister Lucy, welcome. You say you've been denied food, basic amenities, that you have been evicted from the convent. What have you been going through, Sister Lucy, if you can hear me?
Yes, I have started a protest for my rights to get it back. For the past 4 years, I have denied all my human rights from this community, FC Convent Karakamala sisters and the other authorities of the FC Convent. So, as you know, my protest is for the basic needs of human being. One of that is food, and all other food they are denied the food for me for the past 4 years, and all other facilities one by one they are rejected from me. They are taken away all that rights to use the common facilities of a community or like a convent. They are refused to give me, closed. So everything is closed. And also while passing through these all troubles, I have given a case to the civil court, Manandawadi Municipal Court. Then the 2021 August 13, already they have given me a judgment favor for me, that it is completely favor. And these nuns, these FC Convent Karikamala sisters are not following this judgment, and they are violating the judgment, the order of the court. So they are denying everything, and they are not only that, they are denying the judgment of the court, the judiciary in essence.
Yes.
Is it possible? My question is that. That's why I am started a protest, because have complained in many offices of the government, and it's so hard. So far it is not happened for me the correct remedy to get back my rights as a human being, as a nun in the community. I have spent my whole life, last 40 years with the 40 years with the nuns, and all my salary they have taken back, and they have used that money, and now they are throwing me to the street. It's injustice. It is not human. It is not divine. It is not human. It is not according to the social customs. So I need my rights. I'm a human man.
Yes.
That's why I started to started a strike against this injustice of the nuns in the community and all other superiors.
Sister Lucy, I'm very sorry to hear about your plight and the circumstances in which you're joining us right now. Bishop Mulakal was accused. He was acquitted by court. Do you know where Franco Mulakal is now? Has life returned to normal for him while you are persecuted?
As you know, the Sikh convent or the congregation started the steps to evict me from the convent during the Franco case strike. After that, I have supported the nuns. I have given solidarity with the nuns, those who are deserted from the Catholic leaders and church, and all other women congregation leaders and members. So one of my sisters, I have seen her as my own sister, and I joined with her in her pains and troubles and struggles which she had faced during that time. I have given a strong support to her. Only due to that, I spoken against the crime of Franco, the rape of Franco. That's why he is a bishop. So because of only that reason, the FC convent, the congregation started to work against me and trying to force me throw to the street simply without any reason. So, and now Franco is acquitted from the first session of the court order. Then now he is in his own diocese, and I think he is doing all his ministries as a bishop or as a...
Well, I wish you well, sister. I hope things get better for you. We've put the spotlight on your decision to hold a protest of this kind, and we hope that the church, the convent are listening. You've been through a lot already. Let's wish you the best. Thank you very much, Sister Lucy, for joining me here on 5 Live. Women pilots, not a new thing. They've been around for a while here in the Indian Air Force, but women pilots are now operating fighter aircraft and choppers at a frontline base in the eastern sector over Arunachal Pradesh and Assam. With the number of women pilots growing in the Air Force with each passing year, many more volunteers. Some of them are flying frontline Su-30 fighter jets, with the first weapon systems operator among women deployed there. Her name is Flight Lieutenant Tejasvi, and here's her story from Tezpur in Assam.
Flying high in the air, flying free with the hawk's instinct to guard the motherland. Flying Su-30 fighter jet as weapon system operator is the first Indian women Flight Lieutenant Tejasvi of the Indian Air Force, along with other women pilots ready to respond to any eventuality. They are smart, savvy, and super confident. Deployed at the China front, Indian Air Force's women superpower at the Eastern Front are a band of young women.
Being part of any actual operation is what every fighter pilot in the Indian Air Force trains for, because that's where we would get to show our mettle. Our pilots from various bases in the eastern sector are ready to respond in case of any eventuality. We're always ready for any kind of tasks and challenges that may come upon us.
The WSOs or WISOs are specialist officers required to fly in the rear cockpit of multi-role Su-30 fighter aircraft and handle the sensors and weapons to be fired by the aircraft at enemy targets. Tejasvi is the first woman flying officer in this role for Indian Air Force.
What runs through our minds is not very different during demanding times, because such operations are an execution of what we train for and practice for.
The Indian Air Force has been flying extensively in this sector to prevent any Chinese provocation in recent years. The Su-30 MKI fighter, along with one squadron of the Rafale jets, have been the mainstay of the force in this region. The terrain in the northeast is full of challenges, of densely forested hills with unpredictable weather conditions.
We are constantly trained so as to fly in adverse weather as well as in such sort of terrain.
In the last 2 years, India has been engaged in multiple military standoffs with China along the northern borders in Ladakh, due to which forces are at a heightened alert all along the line of actual control. Women officers have added more muscle in this mission.
These days, women fighter pilots not only flying helicopters but also flying the deadly aircraft like Su-30, and this is the firepower of Indian Air Force. With camera person Anil Jaiswal, this is Manjit Negi for India Today at Tezpur Air Base.
Southern cinema has left the audience stunned with its larger-than-life sets and intriguing stories. And the filmmakers have perfected the art of making movies which appeal to domestic audience as well as foreign viewers. But what makes these epic films a game changer? Take a look.
South Indian cinema has left the audience stunned with its larger-than-life sets and intriguing stories. To deliver the audience an experience they have never consumed before, the industry has often invested a lot of money for delivering grand experiences. RRR, the Telugu language epic action drama centered around two real-life Indian revolutionaries, Alluri Sitaramaraju and Komaram Bhim, and their fight against the British Raj.